Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. So my last video was kind of controversial. I put some music behind my NFL predictions and a lot of you guys didn't like it. I know I had a lot of new viewers in and I experienced a lot of hate. But now I'm going to start to explain the rationale behind my points like I promised I would. We're going to do division by division. So today we're going to start off with the AFC East. So starting off with the Patriots, I'm going to go game by game, and then we're going to give some over-unders, some key games to look on the schedule, and overall just do some things. But again, instead of talking about what we're going to talk about, let's talk about what we're talking about. And let's start off with the Patriots schedule, because their first games are, you could say it's fairly easy after the Steelers. Their Steelers is the first game, and I think this game they win, because usually games, you look at it, it's just like, oh, that's a built-in loss of the schedule. It really isn't. It's the Patriots. They know what they're doing. And, so the first game against the Steelers, you could say, you know what, it's it's kind of like the Chiefs that one year where they got blown out. It's kind of like one of those games, but I think the Patriots are going to take up to the challenge. It is in September, which is kind of worrying, but I think the Patriots will have that game. They're gonna have a lot of rookies. They're gonna have a lot of mistakes, but I think they win that game. So week 1 goes to the Patriots. Then Dolphins, Jets, and Bills are the next 3 weeks in division rivalries. I think they lose one of those games. More specifically, I think that they lose to the Bills. I think they lose that game, and it's the Bills coming out party. It's in September. They're gonna slip up a little bit, and we're gonna mention more about the Bills schedule later. But I think they lose one of those 4 games. I don't think they lose against the Dolphins, because it's early in the year, and usually it's late in the year when they play at Miami. It has an effect because the Heat, and they had Adam Gase and everything like that. Even though they have Brian Flores, I still think that the Patriots are going to win. There may be some Fitzmagic if he's starting then, but I don't believe so. And then against the Jets, they're home against the Jets. I think that they start their season off 3-0, pretty strong for the Patriots. The next 4 games, Redskins, Giants, Jets, Browns. I think that they only lose one of these games. I don't think that they lose against the Browns or the Redskins because of rookie quarterbacks, rookie head coaches, the inexperience. Plus, the Browns won't have Kareem Hunt yet. That's not going to make a huge impact, but I think the Browns are going to be coming off a really tough schedule, playing tough every single week. So I think that the Patriots beat the Browns. And then the Jets versus Giants, they lose one of these weeks. I'm going to have them losing at the Jets. The main reason why they struggled against the Giants is because they had a strong defensive front. But now the Giants have a strong secondary. Or hopefully they will have a strong secondary. So that's why I think that the Giants will lose to the Patriots. Let's have them losing to the Jets. So they start off the season, 6-2? Then they play the Ravens, and they have a bye week. I think they're going to take it to the Ravens. It's going to be a bloodbath, but they're going to be looking forward to the bye week. A Sunday night football game. They're going to have a lot of time to prepare, and they usually bring it. The Ravens have a strong defensive front. I'm kind of scared for this game. Maybe Lamar Jackson's coming out party like the Browns, but I still think that they eke out this game. Going to the bye, they are 7-2. Then the Eagles, Cowboys, Texans. I think that they lose, between those 4 games, I think they lose 3 of them. The Eagles, Cowboys, and Texans. I think the Eagles are going to be really good, especially going down the stretch. They're going to be healthy, strong defensive front, kind of a weak secondary, but that defensive front is going to give Tom Brady a lot of struggles. The offensive line is going to be good for the Patriots again. The loss of Trent Brown and Nate Soldier doesn't really have an impact on them, but those rookie wide receivers are going to cause trouble for Tom Brady. He's not going to have a huge rapport. Not sure of Julian Edelman's health. So that's why I think they lose 3 out of these next 4 games in that third tier, week 9 through 13. They lose 3 of these games. I'm quite confident in that. And then finally rounding out the last 4 games, it lines up a lot, and I think they lose one of these games between the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, and Dolphins. The Chiefs, I find it hard to believe that they're going to lose to the Patriots 3 times in a row. The Chiefs are going to be fighting for their playoff lives at this point, because I think the Chargers are going to be really good. They're going to be fighting for a wild card spot, so they're going to bring it. The Bengals are going to be tanking at this point, so I think they're just going to lay down. That may be a little bit of a trap game, and then the Bills and Dolphins. So the main game for their schedule, the main game that I'm circling on my calendar is the Ravens, because if you can win that game and go into the bye pretty healthy, that's going to be a huge advantage for them going down the stretch, because then it starts to lighten up. They go through 2 hard weeks, and then it starts to lighten up a little bit. So Definitely, they need to win that game against the Ravens. That's a huge game on their schedule. The second place in this division, start off at Giants and Jets. I think that they win one of these games, but I'm not too sure. So I'm going to have them going off. Just have them start off going 1-1. I think they beat the Jets that first week. And yeah, let's have them beating the Jets. And then the Giants, they lose to the Giants because the Giants have to get some wins, right? They're going to figure out to win one of these games at MetLife. The same place in New York, same weather. They've been around that area. They're going to be fine. Cincinnati, New England, Tennessee before the bye. I think they win 2 out of these 3 games, going into the bye at 3-2. They beat New England, and then Tennessee will give them problems, but I'll have them getting a win at Cincinnati. Well, home against Cincinnati. They're going to be in the state of New York for the first 3 weeks of the year. They're going to be in that Northeast for the first 4 weeks, pretty much, and I think that they win 3 of those games. Start off 3-1. Tennessee, they struggle. They got 3-2. Then they have their bye week. It's really concerning for me because it's really early in the year. Then they play Miami, Philadelphia, Washington, Cleveland for their next 4 games. Obviously, I have them beating Miami at home because at this point it's going to get a little cold. Miami, not too sure what their situation is going to be. But Philadelphia and Washington, they lose one of those games. Probably home against Philadelphia, even though they are still home. And the beginning of their schedule is all in the Northeast for the entire time, so they can build up some momentum. Not a lot of traveling for them. You look at it, Cincinnati, Northeast, Philadelphia, Northeast, Washington, Northeast, Cleveland, Northeast. They're going to be pretty strong there. And then against Miami, I have them actually losing because they travel a little bit. I think that's a built-in loss. I think they're going to be pretty hot at this point. So what is that? They'll play 9 games in Week 10. I think they'll be hovering around 6-3. That's a built-in loss. So 6-4. Then they play home against Denver. I have them winning that game. Even though Vic Fangio is a great defensive mind and he can give Josh Allen some struggles, I think the offensive line comes into form with Cody Ford, kind of a rookie guy, and this offensive line kind of brings it together, and they win in the Northeast. Okay, then they play at Dallas. I think that this is a loss for them. At Dallas, it's going to be a 4:30 primetime game. This is going to be a big game for them. I think that they lose. And yeah, so then the next 4 games are going to be tough. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, New England, Jets. They lose against New England. I think they're going to split against New England. At Pittsburgh, Baltimore. These are the 2 most important games of their schedule because it really does determine whether they're going to make a playoff run. I think that they're going to beat Baltimore, so that would be their 9th win of the year. Pittsburgh, Jets. You have to find out a way to win one of those games, and then you're in the playoffs. At 10-6, I think they can sneak into a wild card spot. So yeah, that's the Bills' schedule. Let's move on to the Jets' schedule. They lose at Buffalo, obviously. Then they go into their bye in Week 4, and I think they're going to be 1-2 going into the bye. Maybe even 0-3 going into the bye. But let's have them 1-2. Actually, no, let's have them 0-3. And then at Philadelphia, I mean, they can easily go 1-5 in these first 5 games. It's going to be really rough for them. New England at Jacksonville. They're going to start off their season 2-6, and then their schedule kind of lightens up a little bit. They have Miami, Giants, Washington, Oakland. I have them beating the New York Giants. I think they're going to either beat the Giants or Buffalo. Let's have them beating the Giants because I gave my Giants a win against Buffalo. So just like that, 10 weeks into the season, you're 3-6. Your wins only are at Miami, Giants, and maybe they could squeeze against Jacksonville or Cleveland or something like that. So they're 3-6. I'll have on the screen my predictions exactly, but this is just my feel for it. Then Washington, Oakland, Cincinnati lines up. They win 2 of those 3 games. So just like that, they're 5-7, back into the hunt, but they need a win out. And then they play Miami, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo. Buffalo is going to be that time of year where they're just... I think Buffalo is going to be fighting for a playoff spot, and Jets are going to try to spoil the Buffalo's hopes, kind of like how the Jets did to Buffalo a couple of years ago, or the Buffalo did to the Jets a couple of years ago, making them 10-6 and out of the playoffs. I think that's going to be a similar story this year. And I have them actually tying against Washington. Don't ask me why. I pick one tie every single year, and this just has a tie written all over it to me because I feel like it. I don't know. I just think 2 young quarterbacks. They're going to be playing kind of conservatively. Jets are not going to want to lose, but they're not going to be they're going to be kind of desperate too. But I think that they're going to tie Washington. It's just, I don't know. And now the more I think about it, the more I don't think it's going to be a tie. So let's move on to the Miami Dolphins. Their schedule. What's it looking like? And I think it's pretty rough, but I think they win the first game of the year at Baltimore. Your Fitzmagic, whatever that is, it's going to work. I think Fitzpatrick starts off the season. and then they beat Baltimore, but then they go into their bye week and week 5, a horrible bye week at 1-3. I think that they lose to Washington, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. They lose all these games until they get to, who do I have them losing against? I forget who I have them beat. Oh, I have them beating Buffalo, in week 17. Buffalo, like I said, it's going to be a trap loss for Buffalo, and they're going to only win 2 games in the season. Their secondary, pretty legit. The run defense getting better with Christian Wilkins. I think that it's going to get better. Their secondary is the strength of this team, but the run defense is really going to struggle with them. And if you can't establish the run, or if the other team establishes the run on you, they're just going to pick you apart no matter how good your corners are. Eventually people will get open, and that's what I think is going to happen. It's going to be an ongoing story for the Miami Dolphins. Not too much talent on the offensive side. They have the worst offensive line in the league, according to Pro Football Focus. And this is going to be Cardinals 2.0, and Josh Rosen's going to struggle again. They're going to get the first overall pick, and if I had to guess, they'd probably give it away to like an Oakland or Minnesota who needs their Jake Fromm or Tua, or who has Justin Herbert for their number 1 pick. So if you have a first overall pick bets, I'd go with the Miami Dolphins. As far as over-unders, take the under on Miami, take the under probably on the Jets because their schedule gets pretty rough. It lines up at the end, but they may be demoralized by then. Sam Darnold may be beaten up. And then the Bills, I take the over. And then the Patriots, I take the over too because 10.5, I think they have built-in 10.5. They don't play like a Bill Belichick disciple this entire year. They played Matt Patricia. They played Vrabel. They played O'Brien last year. They play O'Brien again this year. But it's only like 1 or 2 games where it's just like, oh yeah, they can lose this game. They're like 3/4 the way through the season. It gets kind of rough, but I think they'll be able to navigate it because they're going to be in playoff shape. That's when they start rounding out and rattling off some wins. And the last couple weeks, they can kind of relax. And it's really a fight for second place, not a fight for first, even though I think the Bills have a long shot. Their odds are plus 1,100, and I think that's a pretty good odds. But I'd still probably take the Patriots, even though they're not really deep in wide receiver. They never really were deep in wide receiver ever. So, and they're gonna figure it out on the as far as running back by committee. But I think they're a safe bet to win this division, unless Tom Brady gets hurt. Unless you think he's really gonna get hurt, but he's been taking care of his body. He's lifting some extra weights. So I think especially this year, he's strong. Shouldn't get injured this year. They have a really young roster. They brought in Demaryius Thomas as a wide receiver. Not too sure who their tight end is going to be, but I think they're going to be fine. They're going to do running back by committee. Whoever they bring in, they're going to do great. Great offensive line coach. Doesn't matter where they lost Trent Brown, Nate Soldier. Doesn't matter who they lose. They're going to have a great offensive line. I don't think that they're going to get home field advantage because the Colts and the Chargers are going to be so good. So now for my ceiling and floor for every single team. Ceiling for the Patriots, I do think they can go 13-3. But I think that, their wide receiver core is not experienced. They don't have a lot of experience on this team besides Tom Brady. And that's going to hurt them. They have a lot of draft picks that haven't really played. So this is going to be the transition year for them as far as new talent goes. I think their ceiling is 13-3. Their floor is really just 10-6. They can't be much worse than that. They haven't been worse than that in 20 years. And then as far as the Jets, their ceiling is probably, they can get up to 9 wins, I think. And their floor is probably 5. I don't see them winning any less than 5 games because I like their offense. I like their defense. Greg Williams, great defensive mind. I just don't trust the organization of the squad. Haven't really won in many years, so what's so much different about this year? You can say it's a second-year quarterback, but and I like Sam Darnold's quiet, but I don't trust this offensive line. And I don't trust their wide receivers to make plays for Sam Darnold, even though Le'Veon Bell was a key addition. Yeah, so Bills, I think their ceiling is 10-6. That's why I have them at 10-6. I think they're going to reach their ceiling this year. And their floor, they can go as worse as 6-10. And they can go as down as 6-10. So I think Buffalo can definitely struggle this year. I'm definitely not saying that they are a lock to make the playoffs. I just have them in the playoffs because I trust Sean McDermott. I think he's done a really good job with the squad, and it feels like they're turning it around. And plus, they have a really easy schedule in the first couple of weeks. And then finally, Miami, their ceiling is 4 wins, way under the under for like 5 wins or whatever they have. I think you can be fairly confident that they'll be the first pick. And yeah, so it's going to be a couple years. They're accumulating talent right now. Like I said, I think they trade back, accumulate some draft picks, maybe trade back and get Derek Brown or another defensive tackle to help out Minkah Fitzpatrick, something like that to help them. And yeah, I think the Dolphins are in pretty good shape. It depends how good Brian Flores is as a coach. So yeah, I think I talked about everything I want to talk about today. Let me know what you guys think. What are your AFC East predictions? Anything and everything, let me know in the comment section down below. Tom Brady, I don't think he's an MVP candidate. Like I said, they're not going to have a first-round bye. Andrew Luck cannot play in the cold. He's more of a fair-weather quarterback, and I think that this really helps out the Colts, and that's why I think the Colts end up beating the Patriots, because the Colts are going to have a much easier schedule. They're going to go 13-3, and yeah, they're going to end up playing the Patriots. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a like rating, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.